And I wanted to start with the whole public policy thing. And basically data didn't matter in the last election, and we let somebody else come in and decide that. And as a sector, and just talking to different people, always the not-for-profits, and boy, do we get into public policy, what happens with our status. And the debate, the question so long, they lost the opportunity to be able to influence public policy. And so it's a lot of board education and other things that have to go on. And I think just education of the community, that if you're not in the public policy game, long-term change isn't going to happen. And by the way, we're competing against people that have been in the public policy game for decades and know how to work the system in Washington at the state level far better than anybody here. And at least one lesson of the election that you take back is community organizing at its most basic level, and that's all Obama did, won the election. It went against all the other efforts and the money to be able to do that. So what are we doing as a community to activate those communities so when the message comes out, you've already got the network out there to be able to react and go against it. And right now, it's not happening. So public policy should be first and foremost on everybody's agenda. We need to collaborate on how to be able to get that out into the community. Number two, you talked a little about intellectual capital. It's a massive issue in the sector. How are we attracting and retaining the smartest people into the sector? How are we getting them? When you look at what's happening in Silicon Valley and others, it's getting that youth and that intellectual capital to deal with these issues. And what they're doing to collaborate together to do that. As a sector, how many young people are we bringing in that are collaborating as a sector to be able to get those ideas and use them? If you look around at the meetings you go through, very, very few. So how are we attracting these people in? How are we developing these people? And how do they serve as a broader community to bring that innovation to our sector, I think is a key issue. The third thing you mentioned on data, yes, Gates is doing a lot of work, but the great thing is nationally, whether it's the Robin Hood Foundation, whether it's the Center on Poverty at the University of Chicago, there is so much more being done on the data front for everything that we're doing. The question is how to be able to get that data out to work and improve our work and practice. Not only our work and practice, but the sector's work and practice. So how are we working amongst each other to get that intellectual capital and that data and what works into our community so that we can share that and help our non-for-profits? It's a key challenge, I think, moving forward. And that's where ASU can play a big part. The other is obviously the diversity issue. If you just look at demographics in this state. I mean, coming from Chicago, I'm amazed at how many people don't look at demographics in this state. And it's doing this, it's doing the same old thing. It's the definition of insanity. Well, it used to work this way, and people are continuing the same strategies to try to get the community together. They certainly are down in the Tucson area, and they're shocked when they don't work. Well, you've never involved anybody in the community in any of the process, so why should things ever be different? And the demographics are what they are. So how are we working as a community around that, both as a sector and with the non-for-profits, to make sure that that happens? The other, this will be my final thing, is the involvement of people. In a sense, people give to people when they see the cause. How many times are we down there at that cause, getting to know the people, getting to know the problem? And for us, at least from my seat, introducing potential donors to that at that ground level. We have way too many people in our community that are able to sit in their little community, never really see the need, so they don't invest. Well, they're going to. What are we doing to share that need with them on a personal level? Because that's when the giving really starts. So what are we doing as a community and different funders to be able to show people the need and show how they can make a difference? And we need to do a much better job of that.